All right, you guys, welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to Tomboy Official. Here on this podcast, we chat a bit about the LGBTQ plus experience, gender experiences, sexuality related topics and experiences, and just generally, I don't know, I just like to bring up stuff that just kind of comes to mind in my day to day. I think I posted on here an update that I had contracted COVID. Today I finally tested negative. I don't know how many days I was negative for, but it's Monday and I last tested on like Thursday or something, and I was still positive. Meaning I had been positive from Thursday to Thursday, but symptoms from the Tuesday before that till, other than this weird scratchy throat and kind of like that feathery nose feeling like in my nose, and that might be an allergy anyways, because it kind of comes up anyways, but, I want to say Saturday, but also, I think just like a couple things, like if I'm like trying to shower or trying to like, do anything like physical, like showering in like a hot shower, like really hot water for a little lengthy of a time, anything that kind of gets my breathing rate and heart rate kind of up, I can't really do that for too long. Exercising, anything along those lines, it's just not really gonna happen right now. But I just get very easily winded. It's kind of like almost like, when you try to like exercise or something and you haven't really had enough water. But I know I'm definitely hydrating, but I also have like changed up my diet a bit. Like I'm kind of eating a lot less carbs, I've noticed. Like I kind of purposely started eating less carbs because I was eating like way more fruit, and I just kind of did that because that's what I wanted to do. But yeah, it's just been an interesting experience. It's kind of taken me a little bit out of some of my social plans, so that has been probably the most annoying of things, is that, there's some people I'd like to connect with and some plans I had that were pretty important to me, and others too, like it's plans that like I knew were going on for like a few months now that I was like, I'm definitely in, and I'm just glad I'm not like too flaky. At least I don't think I am. Like usually when I plan to do something, there have been times when I've forgotten to do stuff, like this baseball game I had tickets for. It was like one of those like Pride Night baseball games, and like I bought the tickets like months in advance, and then I got, a little consumed with the move and everything. And then I wasn't even in town, the weekend that the game was happening, or it was a midweek game actually, and I wasn't even in town, and I was just like, I totally forgot. But I had every intention of going when I bought the tickets. I just got kind of consumed with life, and if I was like local, I totally would have gone, but I was like 100 miles away, and I was like, I'm really not just gonna drive all the way back over there just for a baseball game, and I had to work and everything too, so I was like, it's just not gonna work out, unfortunately. And yeah, but that's very rare for me. I was just super overwhelmed and caught up with so much stuff. Like it's bound to happen the way that I plan stuff. Especially lately with buying tickets in advance and everything, I'm usually going to forget something, eventually, but that's not like normal. That was actually really weird for me because like I really wanted to go, and I think I paid like $45 for the tickets or something. Like it wasn't like I really had every intention of going, and if my friend wouldn't have been like, yo, are you like excited about this game or whatever, I totally wouldn't even have remembered that I had the tickets, because I bought them so far, and I probably bought them like 2.5 months in advance. And so I wasn't too involved in the buying process. I just like sent somebody my money. It was like a Venmo thing, or I was just like, how much are they like on the dot or whatever, and I sent them like all the money, like, and then they just bought it, and that was that. So I don't really even know, but I mean, things are fine, but yeah, I've been a little absent. Just kind of refocusing things too a little bit, just because I've had so much time to like sit around and think. Like I was off work for like a week, and I wasn't like nauseous or fatigued, luckily. So other than like the worst 24 hours of it, it was just hard to talk a lot or even record anything. And then, but otherwise I was like awake. I was kind of bored out of my mind. Like part of me was like okay to like not be like thinking about work, and then the other part of me was like, I'm literally doing nothing though. So like the alternative to like doing nothing versus doing work, and sometimes not really having the energy to really think about the things that are actually on my mind that I actually want to focus on. That was kind of the only trade-off there. And I mean, I hadn't really planned on like taking days off right then either, so that didn't really work out too well. But I mean, it's not like I got it on purpose. I didn't get COVID on purpose, but it was bound to happen. I'm kind of surprised it didn't happen earlier, but I've been cautious even this whole time. I was totally cautious, and you know, even throughout like the majority of the pandemic, other than when they kind of shut us in, I kind of was just going out anyways. I was always at like the gay clubs, the bars, like with my queer crew. We hung out for like the majority of the pandemic, and I think I kind of even mentioned on here that like there are people that I've been hanging out with for years that like we never really got to know each other too well. Like we got along and stuff, but like there were a lot of things that we didn't really know about one another because we had always just hung out at like bars and clubs and stuff, which is great, and it was always fun. It's always fun. I still love it, but it's like, you know, we're not really having too many deep conversations in those clubs and stuff. So I feel like it was kind of more my speed, like my own like natural speed, to kind of just be like hanging out at the park and hanging out at the beach and doing like game nights and card games and just kickbacks and like watching videos and movies and like Drag Race and stuff like that, versus like the constant like just like the noise and just drowning everything out. Like I don't know, I'm kind of like deep into kind of like just kind of having really genuine connections with people. But I do like to just like go out and party too, and just have like some mindless fun and just like enjoy time with people, just doing stuff where you're not really like having some like really deep conversation. Sometimes it's nice, especially when it's people you see all the time. Like it's nice to just go out like that. So I think it kind of depends. Like for me, when I have limited time, I'd much rather just like hang out one-on-one or like a couple people at a time and catch up and like, you know, really like actually catch up, versus just like, you know, like, you know, while you're waiting in line, and like while you're waiting in line to get drinks, or when you're waiting in line to like, you know, pay your cover or whatever, you kind of catch up a little bit about like, hey, how's work been going? How are you doing? How's your dating life? How's your family? Like whatever, and then just move on like within a couple of minutes, and then just get into like this really loud environment, and then you're just kind of like everybody's drinking and just like doing their own thing. So I don't really know. I'm kind of like, it's kind of interesting with my social life, but I mean, I haven't really had a social life for like 2 weeks, so I don't really have, it's hard to really record a lot of stuff when I don't really have a lot to say. I think the last thing I did, I went to the Pride Parade. I can't even recall if I did recordings during that time. I think I did a little bit, but anyways, that's kind of my update, why I've been a little bit absent. And I should be getting back on here though, but yeah, that's kind of why I've been a tad bit absent. But that's kind of catching things up to speed. I don't want to get too much into it. I may have even recorded about this before, so I don't really want to make it too lengthy to be talking about COVID. Like, I'm fine. You know, I didn't pass it to anybody that I know. I notified everybody that I knew that I had seen. Once I knew that I was positive with it, I told the people I was around. It turns out there were other people positive too. So either they gave it to me, or I gave it to them, or we all got it from somewhere that was kind of similar. But it's really hard to track, you know. It could have come from the gym or the hotel or like freaking lobby somewhere, or like the parade, or, you know, it's easiest to blame the parade, but it could have even come from like Uber or like what the heck else, you know. Like, it's hard to really tell. I was all over the place, so I don't really know. And everybody else was too. Everybody else was just like all over town, so it's really hard to tell. But as far as I know, I think everyone's fine. I'm good. I don't really want to talk too much more about that, but yeah, the updates to the queer life, there aren't really any right now because I haven't really been doing anything, so there's nothing really to say. But with that, all right, guys, thanks for listening.